Welcome to HDiiTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Now, I wanted to get this out. Now, Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War has been going off the chain. This past week we had a new episode. Now, this was episode 11. This was more of Nanayo. We finally figured out about Nanayo, and we wanted to understand what was going on, and we were trying to figure out what was her connection to Kiyaraku, or I call him the pimp. Man, episode 11 opened our eyes up to what it was. So, what it did and everything, she was very underused. Like, nobody knew what was up. But she took center stage, and she was given the Zanpakutos. The Zanpakuto was taken from her because her mother didn't want her to fall under that curse. And the curse was of their family. The woman of that family or that clan, whenever they marry a man from the within, that man would pass away just unexpectedly. They would just fall ill. So now the captain, we thought her captain, Kiyaraku, we thought that he was, we thought that he took care of the Quincy, but he wasn't able to beat him in the Nio. She wanted to always be able to wield the Pacto. So, Captain Shunsui, which I call him Kiyaraku, or I call him the pimp. I call him the pimp because, he had on the gear and everything. He stayed with the women. She was a person who was always underutilized. We never realized how she was. Like, she was just a bland character, but her Zanpakuto revealed so many things. Like, she was a great keto specialist, which keto is used for defense and misdirection and being able to retreat. So in this one, we found out that Kiyaraku is really her uncle. She's the child of his brother and, of course, his wife. So we never knew their dynamic, so she was more like an adopted daughter to him, and she did a lot, and it paid off big time. In this episode, we found out not only that, we found out that the coat that Kiyaraku wore was of his brother's wife. And he had 2 hairpins. One was his brother who left it with him, and the other was his wife left it with him. And of course she left her daughter with him to make sure that she's safe. That's why she ended up in his group. And it was very well done. I loved how it was. It was great. Everything about it was beautiful. I love how the Zanpakuto, it reached into its face and pulled out the blade to give the Nanayo. She was able to appear out of the enemy's shadow, and she just reflected the enemy's power. So whenever the enemy hit her with a power, let's say that it was 100-fold, he would receive the damage back 100-fold, which was genius. Tite Kubo or T Kubo, I call him Mr. Kubo. He's doing a great job. And the last 2 episodes is going to be an hour. So we're going to get episode 12 and 13. Those are going to be your season finale. We're going to get an hour long when that airs. And then we're going to get season 4. Season 4 is going to be awesome. Bleach, the anime is surpassing the manga because I think Kubo got ill and he really couldn't do what he wanted to do, but now they're allowing him to cook, as we would say, we would per se in our slang, in our language, and he's cooking. He's doing the damn thing. And I'm proud of him, man. He's really doing his thing. So, this was a great episode. It was a great episode. Everything, happened. We saw the last episode was very sick and nasty with Mayuri and his daughter, but, it was good, man. It was great seeing it. We got to see a lot in that episode. And like I said, listen, Bleach is 4 out of 4, man. This was a great episode. Then at the end, Kyoraku, he fell. And of course, Nanayo saw him and helped him. He was like, let's just rest here for a bit. So he's going to make it. Like, the whole thing was like done perfect. Everything was done perfect. Everything was done great. I loved, she learned the tragedy behind her. We learned the tragedy behind her family and all of that. This was great. I loved it. Loved it a lot. Now, next, we have the Star Wars The Skeleton Crew. This last episode was pretty good. We of course saw Neil and a new character, Hana. They basically, all of them, they went into hyperdrive and they came back. They thought was Aunt Anna or whatever, the planet they're from. They realized it was a planet that was akin to Aunt Anna. And it was a great episode. This is how you do an episode. I didn't like they were trying to make it a love thing between Neil and the girl. I didn't like that. But other than that, it was a great episode. I wanted to see more Wim in this episode. But this was more of a Neil episode and the group finally unlocking the truth that the robot 33 already knew. 33's memory has been kind of wiped a little bit because the person who fell on that planet to Aunt Anna, they basically were like, whoever tries to come and find out where Aunt Anna is, they basically rip the coordinates off of the wall because that's where the treasure and the gold and stuff is at. The pieces of gold, that Wim had that his dad gave him. I have a theory. I don't think they're I have a theory. I don't know if the previous captain really is unalived. He might be, because I think this happened a long time ago. The ship crash landed. But I think his descendants are on that planet, and I think they know the truth of what's going on. And when that ship took off, a lot of people are because if you look at the dad, Wim's dad has more to do with this than I think meets the eye. I might be wrong, because he gave a sort of a look like, yeah, he's worried, but he gave a look of also, he's hiding something, if you read body language like I do. So he came off as that. So I think this is leading us into something that's going to be very intriguing. Now, this episode, you know, the first mate droid, which is SM-33, he explained that they're locked in autopilot. Basically, when you enter an atmosphere in the Star Wars universe, the opposing people who's there on the planet, they lock your ship and bring you in themselves to not so like it's basically a form of, we don't really trust y'all, but we're gonna bring you in ourselves in case you try to bomb or go somewhere you're not supposed to. Now, it lands on a smooth landing. The area is foggy, desolate. You know, it's not an idealistic home. You know, there's rundown playgrounds and explosions in the distance. You know, Jod remarks that the air tastes like ashy dust. You know, Jod is the guy who hitched a ride with him, the fake Jedi. So the kids run off to check on like a nearby structure. They left him and 33 together. They go into the nearby building and they notice it's a structure like their home, but it's been run down and overran with plants. So the whole place is basically like Aunt Anna, but at Annan, but it's not. You know, it's just another planet that, remember in the last episode, the owl explained to him that these are old planets from the Republic, which were hidden because they didn't want to be found out by enemies or people that's outside, which is smart. Now, Jod, of course, goes into Wim's pockets to get the pieces of gold, and of course, you know, 33 find them. Now, the kids were exploring. They came across the missing, you know what I'm saying, its head in a tower square. You know, then they get surrounded by two masked people, which is two kids, which is including a girl. And then from there, they get taken, of course, like they got to chill because there's another patrol that marches by. And, you know, it's like, it sort of resembles the Obi-Wan Kenobi's faithful mount in his titular show. You know, once they pass, the Chork agree to take them somewhere safe. And Wim realizes it's designed like their school back home. Blase Swaze. You know, the kids are introduced to General Strix, the head of the Chork Warriors. So they get the training. Neil doesn't feel he's good, and then him and the girl who brought him there go off. They have a little moment together speaking about war and peace and, you know, all of that stuff. You know, Neil basically soft as hell. He the soft character. But then when they were put on the front line to go into battle, Neil pulled that strap quick, like, hold up, who out there, you know. So it showed that. And then, of course, Jod comes up. He took Wim's money to purchase the herd of Iapis from the Haddons, and he brought that back to the people they were around. And, you know, he just wanted the kids. The head person of them was going to give him more, but he said, "No, I'm good." So he took the kids. They went to the place. That's when they found out about Addin. 33 was going wild because Firm got upset. You know, she was sad because she was just having a breakdown. Wim was looking like, why I gotta go talk to this chick? Like, I don't. And Wim don't want to go home. Wim want to go and explore the universe. He want to have fun. Everybody else, like KB and Neil, they over there being bummers and shit. You know, he like, man, I'm happy. I'm out the house. I ain't got to worry about school or passing. So, you know how it is. So, you know, Neil and Hannah had their little love story or whatever. They always got to put some weak-ass love story, and then they made it about the elephant and this chick. It's like, I didn't want to see that shit. But other than that, it was a great episode. I give it a 3.5 out of 4 because I give it 3 out of 4 because I didn't like two things. I thought the episode I wanted to know more in this episode about the planet they were on. To me, it was kind of short. And then they brought that Neil, the parts you had with Neil and the girl with their little time, you could have cut that shit and we could have saw them training. I wanted to see them train. I wanted them to ask questions, to know more about certain things. You know, it was cool, you know. So because of Whim, Fern got the idea, tried to get the stuff out of the robot. The robot was about to hurt him. And Neil chucked the rocket to Droid, and then Jod, of course, slaps the Droid's off switch. So I give it a 3 or 3.5 out of 4. I just didn't like the one where Neil and the girl Hannah were talking and all of this stuff. It's like, whatever. You know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. You know, Strix, I think, was the head person. Let me see. But Neil, of course, was showing his weakness. Strix is Hannah's dad who leads the group. So, you know. That was dope. I mean, look, it is what it is. I didn't really care for this episode. It was okay. I just didn't like the Neil part. I think we could have done without that and could have did something else. But overall, I love the show. I think the show is very good. I think I think the show is very good. I think some parts of it could have been better, but but it was great. It was great to see, it was great. It was great to see all of them in this episode. I just didn't like the one with Neil and the girl. I felt like we didn't need that. You could have left that part on the cutting room floor, and you could have showed us their training, them learning how to be some warriors in that short time. I thought this episode was robbed of that. Other than that, it was cool, but we didn't need no love story thing that was developing. We didn't need that. They're kids. Like, we didn't really need that shit. But it is what it is. It is what it is, man. It's, no disrespect. They did what they had to do. Whatever you feel like. I just felt like this episode was wasted. You know what I'm saying? I felt like this episode was wasted. Could have been a better episode, in my honest opinion. It was good though. I loved it. I love the show. I think it's a great show. I just thought they could have done without that part. We didn't really need, we really didn't need that part. We didn't really need that part of the show. We didn't need that. Also in the Bleach show, I love the part where Kyoraku stood behind her and showed that, she had, like, he's always been there for her. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But in the Skeleton Crew, we didn't really need that. We didn't need that. We didn't need that shit at all. Me personally, somebody gonna be like, man, you just hating this shit. No, I'm not hating. I just felt like we could have done without it, which we could have. That's just how I felt. I just felt that part was kind of like, why? It's like, why? Did we really need that? It's like, did we really need that shit? But, it is what it is. But 33 went the hell off, which was wild. It was wild, I tell you, wild. But I give it 3 out of 4. You could have just took out some parts, man. You didn't need all them parts. In my personal opinion, you didn't really need all them parts. You dig? You didn't really need them. And if people disagree with me, that's fine. But, I just feel like you didn't need that because the show is fine. You didn't need to have it where they were having the heart to heart talking about, oh, my planet's like this, my planet like that. That's cool and all, and I understand they're kids, but I didn't think it's cool that they had their little heart to heart talk real quick. But then you carried it on way too long. It's like, look, we don't need a big scene of this. We really don't. We really don't. We didn't need that. We didn't need that at all. But I mean, hey. That's what they want, then hey, it is what it is, man. Me, it's like, alright. It's like, alright. That's what we doing? Bet. But we'll see what next week brings, man. Like I said, I love the episode. I love it so far, but I just give that one 3 out of 4. I just didn't like that part, but other than that, we'll see what's up. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this, hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if you guys love what you hear, you can donate to the page by going to the description box, hitting the link to the Cashapp, to donate whatever your heart's desire. We also got Zelle. You guys can super chat or leave a super thanks. You guys can donate to the page. We also got the merchandising. You guys can do the merchandise. Y'all guys can go to the link, hit the link, and get merch. Support the page. We got the Patreon, $3 a month. You guys can look at that. That go hard. We got a lot of things coming soon. Thank you guys for your support. I'm out. Deezy.